Before we get into today's podcast, I just wanted to take care of a couple housekeeping items. First of all, I've never asked this before, but if you're enjoying the podcast and you've gotten some value out of it, please leave us a 5-star review on wherever you get your podcasts. That could be Apple, Spotify, or whatever else is out there. That helps us spread the word and grow the podcast. And as of now, it is the longest actively running moving industry podcast. And I think it also has the most episodes out of any moving industry podcast. So I'm very grateful for all of the loyal listeners to it and help spread the word there. And I also wanted to announce the dates for our upcoming Moving Titan retreat. It's going to be in Tampa, Florida on October 3rd and 4th, right after moving season this year. And we've got an amazing lineup of speakers. We may even have some surprise appearances by some people you might know, but we know for sure Tommy Mello is coming back for 2 days, and we've got some huge industry titans coming to speak, including Brian Slater, Stephen Reed, JC Caldwell with Black Tie Moving, Steve Kuhn, who helped get JK to be one of the largest independent moving companies in the country, as well as Larry O'Toole. He will be back. And then Sean Crane is going to be coming back by popular demand as well. And somebody that I'm really excited about is Lenny Gray, who we recently did a podcast with on door knocking for the moving industry, among many others. And again, we are still lining up guests, and there will be likely some surprises. So don't miss the next Moving Titan retreat. We have early bird pricing in effect, and prices go up every month leading up to the retreat. So it's going to be $19.97 if you wait. But right now you can get it for at least 50% off. So that's through May. Now after May, it's going to go up again. And then eventually it'll get to that $19.97. So lock in your tickets now so we can get a head count. And the more people that sign up with the early bird specials, the more really cool guests and exciting things we can do like has never been done in the moving industry. And then finally, go check out Tighten Up Training. We're heading into summertime, and movers are going to be getting hired across the entire industry. As we all know, those are high turnover rates. You get busy as the owner or as a manager in your moving company, and Tighten Up Training is the solution to streamlining the onboarding. We've got over 200 videos in there shot with Netflix grade quality, and there's quizzes you can assign and track, and it's even gamified to where people earn points for watching videos over and over again, where they can earn badges, have contests with your team. There's also all the Andy Elliott sales training videos in there, as well as a bunch of marketing and leadership videos that we created. And we're going to continue to add content. It is the #1 online training program for the moving industry. So don't get behind your competition, because if you don't buy it, competition will. It's going to make your moving season much, much easier with a finally reliable, high production value online moving training course. So check out tightenuptraining.com today. Now let's get into the episode. All right. Well, welcome back to the Grow Your Moving Company podcast. I've got a special edition today, live and in studio at the JL Video Studios with Jordan Long, who is the CEO of JL Video. And JL Video and Jordan and his team are the masterminds. They're the brains behind our Moving Titan retreats, especially the last one in March that you may have gone out to if you thought that there was amazing production value at that. It's this guy, as well as Tighten Up Training. We worked with Jordan in a beautiful 180-degree LED studio for the Tighten Up Training videos. And he is a Hollywood caliber producer and just is phenomenal. He's a magician with the camera and with the special effects and the stuff that he can do for both recordings, for video, for marketing, and for in-person events, as we saw a couple of months ago. And he will be producing our upcoming Moving Titan retreat. And I wanted to get you on the podcast because, you are really, really good at what you do. You are working on getting your first feature-length film done. You've done documentaries. You've done Hollywood caliber, Netflix grade promotional pieces for huge companies, Fortune 500s, I believe. And I want to learn more about how video can help our businesses, our moving companies on a day-to-day basis, and then just, other marketing strategies and other just, I want to get inside your business brain because you've built an 8-figure production company that is honestly the best in Tampa Bay and arguably one of the best in the country. If you were in Hollywood, I think you'd probably, be working in all those studios. But I want to learn more about like what those goals are for you. But first, can you just kind of take me down your entrepreneurial journey, because you're a businessman too. Not only do you have that creative eye, but I want to hear more about, what got you into this field, marketing and digital production and video production. And, tell me a little bit about your story. What got you to grow JL Video to the behemoth that it is today?
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much for having me on the podcast. And thank you, listeners, for staying with Wade for all these years. You guys are making it what it is today, and also his tireless efforts every single month and week to keep these podcasts going. So thank you again for having me on here. It's been so great to partner with you and the rest of your team to be able to do these productions. And it's been awesome to be on the ground floor of this, because lots of times when we're hired in, something's already created. But it's been really exciting to be able to watch your journey grow and go like, yeah, we were part of that very first event. And now the second one's even better, then the third and fourth. And 10 years later, as it's thousands of people and it's the premiere, no one else would think of anything else, we'll still hopefully be there with you guys and doing amazing things alongside you. So it's been awesome.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to the journey ahead of us.
Yeah.
But where did you get started? Like what brought you into the entrepreneurial world and especially the media world?
Yeah. So I would like to take you back to early 2000s, late 90s, if you will. I grew up in a small farm in Western Illinois. So there's about 1,000 people in the town. My family actually founded the town back in the 1860s.
Wow.
With 2 other families. So you could say that entrepreneurialism, starting something, leaving something to go try a new venture is in my blood. My family came here from the Mayflower from England in the early 1600s.
No kidding.
Yeah.
It's rumored that on my mom's side, they did too.
That's awesome.
And they live in Illinois. My whole family's from Illinois, so maybe we're brothers from
or like 16th cousins or something like that.
Yeah, it could be.
But I say that because growing up there are a lot of different things that I experienced that kind of made me who I was. Besides my amazing father, my mom, who are both entrepreneurs as well, my grandparents who were farmers, my other grandparents, they worked in other businesses as well. Crop insurance was what my dad kind of cut his teeth in growing up. So I always saw my dad working really late, working really hard. Until I was 8 years old, my dad worked 2 and 3 jobs that he created. His own businesses that he created. It was crop insurance, and it was also laying carpet. And then he also had another side hustle as well for a bit. But I saw the hard work side. I saw him, sacrifice a lot of time to be able to build something that eventually he sold for 8 figures to a really large company when he was about 50 and retired for just a short period of time to then get bored and come back, consulting now for different insurance companies and whatnot. But seeing my dad would talk to me about working harder and smarter at the same time, but it was always about working smarter. But I saw him working hard as well. He pulled so many late nights. He got up early. He sometimes would sleep in a cot in his office that was an hour away from our house. At the same time, I would see during the harvest season, which is like October, November, early December sometimes, I would see my grandpa, who was 70s, 80s year old. He'd still be plowing the fields and also he would be harvesting at nighttime, early mornings, just to get the harvest done before it would rain or have crappy weather for that. So whatever I decided to do, I knew that one, I wanted to be my own boss, but second, I knew that if I work really hard and smart and surround myself with the right people, I could be successful. I just didn't want to be a farmer, and I didn't want to work in crop insurance. I'm very creative. So in my background as well, I learned how to play piano. I learned how to play bass guitar and trumpet and then drums. So I would play with my mom and at church, and she was also my piano teacher and my grandma. All that to say, just that right brain side of creativity, whether it's writing or doing model car sets or painting or drawing, playing music, was always incredibly important to me and very active. At the same side too, I love sports. I played football, tackle football from the time I was 10 till 18. I ended up blowing my knees out, my meniscus in both knees playing football. So that's how we segue into video, because that first surgery, that knee injury required surgery. And so I couldn't play on the football team. So my coaches said, you could either be the water boy or the video guy. I was like, we all know Bobby Boucher, he's a cool water boy, but I'm not going to be the water boy. So I ended up saying, I'll go film the games. And so this is when, some of your listeners remember back in the early 2000s, we still had the DV tapes. So you'd pop out the camcorder, stick the DV tape in, record it. Usually had 60 minutes or sometimes less, sometimes more on the tape, and you record onto it. So I would record every one of those games, and my coaches started saying, hey, Lung, this is good footage. Like, you should maybe do something with it. And back then there was no YouTube, or maybe there was, but we just didn't really know about it. And there was no Netflix, no Facebook, nothing like that. So to do video full time, there's two things. You did broadcasting or you made movies. And that was really it. And so making movies wasn't something that I had my eyes on. It was telling stories through different interview style content, if you will. So I fell in love with video. So I ended up doing just a bunch of dumb short films and commercials and things like that people get started in just to gain a portfolio. So fast forward a couple years later, I decided to go into college and I decided to study broadcasting and also theology. Wow. So I wanted to get into ministry, but also I love video. So I just didn't know where those both would take me, but I just knew I wanted to pursue my passions that way. So then fast forward, we graduated college. My wife and I met in college. Our grandmas both referred us to each other. The best referral I've ever gotten. My grandma said, hey, we know this girl that's going to the same college you are, which was only 2,000 people at the time. You're both the same age, same dorm, same side of the dorm, and us and their other grandparents know each other. So Brittany and I, we met that first day of school, that first weekend, and just became inseparable. So we got married at 21, right before our senior year of college.
Wow.
So we thought we were going to be going into vocational ministry. So taking over a church or church planting was kind of our goals. So once an invitation came from our friends to be able to go down to Florida to plant a church, we said, yeah, we have no kids, no debt. We didn't own a house. We had no college debt, which was amazing. So we packed everything up, and that was summer of 2012, July of 2012 is when Brittany and I moved here. At that time, I came in here at Green Pastures. I had no experience running a company. I had no experience building my sales pipeline, closing deals, running contracts, running HR, hiring people. I had none of that. I knew how to do two things really well, though. Get to know people, build trust, and create good content. That's the two things that I really felt like I could add a lot of value to. If I were to go back just a teeny bit, that's how I got into video. But I started my first business at 13. My dad taught me about residual income. Make an investment and watch it grow over time. And so at that point, I was like, well, what does that even mean? He goes, well, you could buy a vending machine or a gumball machine. And so I saved up that one summer bucking bales and mowing our lawn to be able to buy for $285 a 4-foot tall spiral gumball machine off eBay. So that came in, and that started my journey of understanding how economics kind of worked. So I put that at the first restaurant called Santino's in Quincy, Illinois. And I put that at the front area and talked to Mr. Santino. My dad would not speak for me. He said, if you want to put your gumball machine here, you need to basically man up and ask permission to do so. And I'll be with you, but you need to learn how business works. Look him in the eye, shake his hand hard, and ask for permission for that. So that's what I did. And then he taught me to use the profits from the first to automatically invest in the second machine and the third machine and so on. So I was making thousands of dollars a year after I had those machines. Then I started selling glow sticks at school. At 14 years old, I bought 1,000 glow sticks off eBay for $80. They're 8 cents a piece. And then I sold them for $1. And then my dad taught me to hire my friends as my 1099 subcontracted sales guys. And so I had 4 guys running around selling the glow sticks. I give them a quarter and I would keep 75 cents minus the 8, and that would be my net profit. Later on, then I sold sheep. I bought sheep. I sold those. I doubled my money off that. And then later on, my last job, if you will, before I opened JL Video was I was a carny for 2 summers.
Really?
Yeah.
You were a carny.
I was
Wow.
a carny, man. I had
You have all
my
your teeth.
I have all my teeth. I didn't smoke. And I wasn't hooking up with random strangers.
No, hopefully not
at the
doing any
fairs.
meth or anything.
No
like
meth,
that.
yeah, nothing. And so we did it. My brother and I, we'd travel all across the state of Illinois to do a climbing rock wall service, if you will, for kids. Our main target audience were junior high and high school boys. So we developed a punch card system. On your 5th one, you got the 6th one for free. And there's a time system. So you would climb to the very top, hit the button to stop the time, and no one could beat my time. I had 4.8 seconds
Wow.
on it. And I always would joke, if you get it up here, we'll give you a big prize. And no one could. A few guys got close, like 4.95, 5.1. They got close, but I still had the record. But I had a lot of fun memories with my brother. We would travel to different just janky motels. My dad basically gave me a P&L. He said, whatever you collect afterwards, after all your expenses, that's what you got to keep. And so we stayed at the jankiest, nastiest hotels because we knew that, if we stayed in this $100 a night hotel, that's $60, more than the $40 hotel that probably has roaches and needles and stuff on it. So we would just really be very frugal. That Midwest hard work ethic, bootstraps, blue collar style work. That's what I grew up with. That's what my background was. And my parents were very involved in church. We gave a lot of time to our church, that volunteering, giving your time, building relationships, doing the right thing. Those are all part of my core values of really who I am. So fast forward back to 2012, we planted the church here in Largo. We live in Trinity, but we went from Trinity to Largo 3 times a week for a year. And that church plant was okay. It had about 50 people, but just never really took off. So the senior pastors decided to go to a different opportunity. So it left us here in Florida. So Brittany and I go like, what do we do? Do we stay in Florida? Do we go back to the Midwest where our contacts, our friends are at? Opportunities are so plentiful there in Springfield, Missouri for church planting and pastoring. We decided that we were going to stay here in Florida and open up the only thing that I knew what to do, and that was video production. So we had $20,000 in our savings account, which was a decent amount for 23, 24 years old.
Sure.
We just got married a couple years prior, so we had a lot of gift money that people gave us. So we took 10,000 of that 20 and invest that into a Canon 60, a few really crappy lights, a crappy audio recorder, and a microphone, a computer, and a tripod. That was really all that we had. So we invested all that into it and just packed it all up into our Honda Civic. Would drive it to different locations, did a lot of networking. I did a lot of social media posting because back then, if you guys remember Facebook, if you had 1,000 people that liked your page, you would reach 1,000 people or just about that much. The algorithm wasn't what it is right now. I mean, it's the exact opposite. It's a pay-to-play system. So Facebook was great for us. We were the only video production company in Trinity. So we started getting a lot of business. And, at that time, my videos were a few $100, $500. I still remember the first $1,000 job that I did. I almost lost my mind because, when you're involved in ministry, you don't make money doing this stuff. You do it for free. It's for a greater cause to forward God's good message, the gospel. So we never really decided that what a good price to charge. So I was charging $20 an hour.
Wow.
That's how I base everything. So I started getting real estate clients, mortgage brokers, insurance, health and wellness. And then we started getting this one client that would pay us about $300 to $500 a video. And we were getting regular ones nonstop. And so that we just kept pouring that back into better quality, better gear, and better opportunities for us to market ourselves and then hire out really good talent. So it wasn't until 2 years where I hired my first full-time employee. So it was 2 years of making poverty. I still remember my wife saying, we could probably get on food stamps and have government support and make more money than what you're doing right now. But I remember telling her, I said, Brittany, I will never respect myself if I go back to the government and say, I need a handout. I will never learn discipline. I will have to rely on us and our faith to keep us going. If I rely on the government, that's just not the right kind of atmosphere I want to have. So I knew my background, watching my parents work really hard for their businesses. they didn't do that stuff. That just never was a question. And she wasn't inviting me to. She just was saying it flippantly, like, you're making like $20,000 a year. You could probably work somewhere else for just as much money. But I really believed in the vision of our company, which was to grow it, to scale it, to hire more people, to create a great environment, where creatives could come here, express themselves, and be able to get paid well to be able to do marketing videos for other companies. And so that's kind of what started our business, how we got initially going, and just our overall genesis of JL Video.
Wow. What a story. And from gumballs to glow sticks to sheep to carnival rides.
Yeah.
Chad loves glow sticks. So if you have extras you want to sell still,
I could definitely find some. Yeah, they're probably still 8 cents on at Amazon.
Most of you have heard me talk about Moversville and the power of their email marketing service that has helped us increase leads by over 112% over the last year. But have you heard of Moversville Connect? Moversville Connect is an incredible resource for all things moving. They feature an array of vendors and services and lists like insurance providers, softwares, equipment suppliers, marketing sources, and much, much more. The best part? This resource is free. Go check out Moversville Connect today by going to moversville.com and clicking Connect. That's moversville.com and click Connect and discover the world of Moversville beyond email.
One of the worst parts about owning a moving company has to be finding quality movers and drivers. Trying to run all the job ads takes up time, and then you schedule guys to come in for interviews and they never show up. It's a massive headache. Well, let me tell you about a good friend of mine named Winston who runs a company called Move Up Consulting. Move Up specializes in hiring and recruiting for the moving and storage industry, and they do all the lead generation for mover and driver candidates. They have a fully built hiring CRM, plus you get a dedicated account manager who phone interviews and screens all of your candidates. Once they find qualified candidates, they schedule in-person interviews for you and your management team so you can make great hires. They even handle all the appointment confirmations. It's that simple. To start building a better moving team today, visit moveupconsulting.com and tell them Wade sent you.
Want to know what the silver bullet for growing your business is? USA Home Listings. USA Home Listings has a myriad of marketing services that are essential to every single moving company. It blows my mind when I have conversations with people who reach out looking for help, trying to get leads, trying to get the phone to ring, that aren't doing mailers and aren't subscribed to USA Home Listings. The data there is so invaluable, and it's not just home listing data, even though that's an awesome, super easy, super intuitive feature that they provide where you can filter out all of the homes that recently went under contract or got listed in your neighborhood, and a new coming soon feature before it even hits the MLS that you can filter out through zip codes, towns, cities, counties, prices. But that's just one small feature that they do. They also have turnkey mailing services. They'll help you design your postcard, a postcard that actually gets results. If you've tried mailers in the past and it didn't work, it's probably because you didn't have the right elements on your postcard. And they also have a social media division. So check out USAHomelistings.com. It's an essential addition to all of your marketing needs. Before you do any other marketing, check out USAHomelistings.com. Well, that's really cool, man. Nobody works harder than a farmer, and I think we have a lot more in common than I realized. I did broadcasting as my major in college too. Family from Illinois, young age, little side hustle, entrepreneurial ventures. So, I mean, I think that's really you just that to me just shows you have it in your DNA, like just to build and grow and want to make something out of nothing and create things. And that's certainly carried over into your work today. At what point did the switch flip from making $20,000 a year with crappy lights to this, thousands, tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands in equipment that you currently have today?
Yeah. So every single year, we would look at our P&L and go, how much money do we want to be taxed this year? Would I rather give money to Uncle Sam or put money back into our business via really nice equipment, software, branding, website, wrapped vehicles, all that stuff? And so we always have put my salary, my K1 distributions, everything secondary to let the business, our baby, thrive. A business does not have any feelings. It could care less if you're sick, if you're not feeling well, if you don't feel like working late on a Friday night when everyone else is going out and having fun. It just knows it has needs, and you have to provide those needs. Otherwise, the business is going to fail. It's going to go bankrupt, and you're going to be looking for a job elsewhere. So when I realized early on that my business has no feelings, I realized, hey, we can invest more money back into our company. And every time that we do that, we're able to level up the quality and level up the overall ask that we have. We're premium, and I'll be happy to say that we're premium. I still want to work with people where they're at. Depending on people's budget, sometimes it just doesn't make sense. But other times, if we go, listen, maybe you can't afford this, but maybe what if we just went down here and I'm able to shift the overall personnel that's needed and make it more of a simpler shoot. So you can still get our great quality cameras and lighting and people, but the overall time is less. Because with video production, digital marketing, it's all about time. I don't sell a physical product, if you will. This is not overhead. My labor and my subscriptions, my licensing, vehicles, all that's my my overhead, if you will. So for us, I think what really shifted was in 2019, we had been in business for 6 years, and I was scrolling Facebook and I got an ad for the Digital Summit. The Digital Summit was coming to Tampa, and it's a huge national organization where they have people like Gary Vee and Seth Godin, Mark Cuban, and other really well-known speakers, and other brands like YouTube, Cisco, LinkedIn, Facebook, Meta X, all these big players, MGM Studios, come to the conferences. And the conferences usually are 1,000, 2,000 people per city. And there's, I think, between 30 to 40 cities represented that it goes to throughout one year. So I was like, this is kind of cool. I want to check out this conference because it's all about digital marketing. So I wanted to see who was going to be there for videos. And no one was there for video content. And so I'm like, me seeing an opportunity, I reach out to them. Instead of clicking get tickets, I clicked become a speaker. And so I filled out the form. They gave me some canned response like, thank you so much. Due to high volume, we might not ever talk to you again. So I'm like, awesome. I'll still probably try to go if I don't speak, but this would be nuts. Like I would be an idiot not to try at least to be a speaker. Lo and behold, a week and a half before the event were to come in Tampa, I get the email that really changed a lot of our business life. And that was, congratulations, you've been accepted to be a speaker at the Digital Summit. I almost pissed my pants and I almost cried at the same time because I'm looking at all these businesses or multi-billion-dollar companies and I'm going, oh my gosh. First off, I had no, it asks you, what do you want to talk about? And your talking points as if you're already a speaker. I was not a speaker on the national stage, did a ton of stuff through BNI groups and Chamber of Commerce's church business networking groups, things like that. I felt confident about that. And pastoring, you're in front of people all the time. Mm-hmm. But I'd never done a keynote presentation for a JL video yet. And so I made up kind of what I would speak about and they accepted it. So then like, hey, we want your pitch deck. Show us your entire PowerPoint presentation. I'm like, hey, I gave like some BS response. Like I had nothing. So instead of saying, I made this all up, I was just seeing if you would accept me. I said, hey, listen, my team is kind of rearranging the slides a little bit. If you don't mind giving me past the weekend and I'll get you something on Monday. And they're like, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. That's about a week before. Like we can work with you on that. So I ran to my wife. I said, I'm speaking next to YouTube and Cisco, LinkedIn. Like they're the next companies over speaking with me. I can't see you this entire weekend. I need to be like locked up. So I locked myself up for about 20 hours and cranked out that presentation, which was the top 8 videos every business should produce in 2019.
Wow.
We packed that house. There were people I've never seen it before. There were people sitting in the rows, in the aisles, standing in the back, sitting in the front. And I had bigger crowds than some of those big Fortune 50, Fortune 500 companies. And so that was a huge opportunity for me just to it's like what Tom Brady said. He said, you never know if you're going to get a second chance to get back in the game. You're going to get one chance. And the way in which that you optimize or maximize that opportunity will dictate your 3rd, 4th, 5th, 100th, 1000th opportunity for that. So I knew if I were just to take advantage of it, practice my guts out, look really good, get a nice haircut, get my suit on, and give valuable information, people would be able to get a lot of value. And then I could cut it up into, reels were just barely starting at that point. So I was able to cut those up for reels and just create a highlight video of me next to other people. And so put my face, my company, these other brands all in the same environment, if you will, to be like, hey, this guy plays in this kind of environment. So then from there, I meet this guy that he's from Kansas City, and he comes up to me because we had an entourage with all the crew following me around getting content. He's like, hey, would you guys mind filming my keynote? I'm speaking like in an hour. And I was like, yeah, we can take care of that for you. And he's like, what would you charge me? And I was like, you know what? How about I take care of it for free? And then after your keynote, we can talk, build a relationship, and see how we can grow our businesses together. I had no idea who this guy was. After he spoke, he comes up to me, goes, how'd it look? I said, our guys said it looked awesome. I took a peek at it. It looks great. You can cut it up, do whatever you want. He goes, I was ranked number 32 of the most influential business entrepreneurs in the United States under Gary Vee, Tony Robbins, and all those guys. I'm a contributor for Forbes and Inc.com.
Oh, wow.
If I could give you a shout out, would that be okay, barter? I was like, yeah, of course.
I'd say so.
So at the age of 29, I got featured in Forbes and Inc.com.
Wow.
And that changed a lot of my mindset to now where if I think something can happen and I can put a plan in place, I can execute it, I believe wholeheartedly nothing's going to stop me.
Wow. Yeah. And that's so true. As you start to get to the next level, it just opens up the possibilities. Right. I remember when we started doing the Moving Titan retreats, and this was only probably actually about a year ago. I was like, what if we got, who's that Wolf of Wall Street guy? Jordan Belfort.
Yes.
What if we got Jordan Belfort to speak at that? That would turn some heads. And Chad's like, come on, man, you think way too big sometimes. And the next thing you know, we have Andy Elliott, Tommy Mello, we got all kinds of, came out, all these amazing speakers. And a year prior to that, it was just pie in the sky dreams.
Sure.
But now we're like, wow, who else can we get? Now the sky's the limit. We can bring in anybody to this. It's just all a matter of there's a will, there's a way.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
That's amazing. And, you've got a lot of competition in the video space. Your story, the beginning of your story is not necessarily uncommon. I know a lot of people that have purchased a camera and now all of a sudden they're a video production company.
Sure.
What did you do then, and what do you do now that you've carved your niche? And what's the, are you a specialist at any one specific area in video production?
Yeah, that's a great question. So there's a lot of videographers that are solopreneurs. It's a chuck in a truck or a Dane in a van kind of scenario where they don't have a studio, they don't have a staff, they don't have the infrastructure, the cameras that we have invested in to be able to lay the groundwork to do really big productions. So there's a lot of us that started off this way. I think one of the biggest things is the way in which I like to partner with companies to think big. It's almost like if you go to a restaurant, I could tell a chef exactly what I want, and they're an order taker. They'll take my order and they'll make me exactly what I asked for. I don't approach it that way. I ask what their big goals are, how they want to scale their business, what revenue percentage they want to grow that next year. And then after all those big things, what their vision is for the next 3 to 5 years, 10 years, I ask all those questions. You talk with a videographer, they're going to say, what kind of video do you want? What do you want to say? Where do you want to shoot? They're order takers. With me, I dream big with our clients. We have one of our sayings where dream big together. And the reason why is because videos in whatever style that you do, whatever type that you do, can facilitate growth and partner with that specific phase no matter what. So if you're starting off, you can have videos to get you to a certain level. When we're working with billion-dollar companies and they say, hey, we need to make this product video because we're getting ready to launch next year, and this product video we hope will be the catalyst to make us $100 million, I have to think big with them. So because of those opportunities to think big with people, it's changed my mindset and it's helped me scale with them. So then I can recommend how the videos will go with email campaigns, with social media ads. Really, I'm a sales consultant mixed with video production consultant mixed with entrepreneur. That's what makes me different. And I love that because I was able to see a vision, follow through with it, build a team, build out great gear. we continue to work with larger and larger clients. So those are some of the key differences that we do have. And on top of that, it's the talent. My guys are incredible. They are very passionate for what they do. They love what they do. And because I've been in the business long enough, if I don't have them full time as an employee, I know exactly who's the best for this specific style of shooting, down to that specific amount, with this camera, with this lens, with this kind of package, if you will. If it's more of a handheld style shooting, I know, hey, there's a few guys that I can think of just like that are specialist freelancers in those fields. They're just not going to grow their business like what I did. I'm in the business of talent acquisition as well.
Oh, I love that.
So I want to acquire the best people for it, because it's not just about me.
Mm-hmm.
If I can be the one to assemble the best team, that will be one of the best legacies that I leave. Period.
Amazing. And, I know you've done a lot of work with local companies, and national Fortune 500 companies. I guess for the purposes of this podcast, for a moving company, what are the 8 essential videos of 2024 that a moving company should have? I know you gave your speech on that for 2019. Things have changed quite a bit since 2019. So I'm curious to hear
absolutely
kind of where you're at with that today.
Yeah. So I was blessed to speak, at the retreat. And for you guys that did not come, you got to check out the fall retreat. It's the version 2.0, which means that there really weren't many kinks, I would say. And they're worked out and built even more so. I mean, incredible speakers, incredible lineup, great flow, great check-in system, overall value of speakers, even more valuable speakers. I could even argue that. So at that speech that I gave, we talked about, some of the big ones are your brand story video, which is why you do what you do. And I've really enjoyed the last few months seeing people tag myself, tag Reagan Weiss. Just yesterday, we got tagged where there was one of the gentlemen, he said, hey, one of the best things I got of value out of the Moving Titan retreat was the chat about video content. And he hired someone local to be able to create his brand story video. And that's why you do what you do. It's core value based. It's missional based. It's supposed to make you feel like you understand the essence of who they are. It does not talk about how many years in business, what your address is, your phone number, give us a call. We're going to save you time and money. Like, it doesn't talk about some of those old school ways of marketing that you would hear on TV ads back in the day, or radio, that can still be prevalent. We're going more the essence, the heartbeat of that brand. So that's the first one. The next one would be client testimonials. Sometimes clients are our best advocates and can sell better than us because they're speaking from a non-biased perspective. They once didn't know who you were. They once weren't a transaction from you. So they're going to share about, we had we call it a PSA, problem, solution, appeal. And so if you can follow that, you can do any kind of testimonial video from any kind of industry, whether it's moving to selling glow sticks. What was the problem that you're facing? We needed to move, and we needed to move within a month. Or it doesn't always have to be the problem. It's more the need as well. So it could be something like, hey, my name's Jordan, and I needed to move in 30 days because I ended up just taking a new job. And so I looked online and I found that two college brothers moving had a great website, had great branding, had hundreds of reviews that I could look from. And so I gave them a call, and the S-Part solution, they decided that they were going to come to my house or ask me to take inventory of what I needed moved. We did a deep dive investigation into what was needed for my move. Then they came there. They showed up on time. They were well dressed, well spoken. They gave me options. We had to go over a few hours, and leading up to that, because we just had so much crap, we decided that, hey, they had great communication with us. We understood that there would be overage. They were very professional about that. They were quick. I felt like they were always moving fast, and they handled our possessions with a lot of care. I would highly recommend that you give them an opportunity to earn your business. You will not be disappointed. That's kind of like the PSA, the problem solution appeal. And we follow that every single testimonial video that we do. We always start with the problem first, because you got to fix. For me, like, I look at it, I'm trying to solve a problem of the business. You're not getting enough sales. You're not showing your business in a high-end enough way. Your competition is eating your lunch. You look worse than your competition from a branding perspective. You're not sharing your message clear enough. You don't have anything to showcase your products and services. Your sales are lower. Like, these are things that I'm trying to solve with it. So that's why I like to call myself more of a consultant, because I'm going, wait, you want to solve this problem. Your sales are lower, or your competition is eating your lunch. How much is that costing you every single year? And you might go like, well, it's costing me, I don't know, $100,000, $200,000 a year because they're using my competition. So then on the sales side, I'm able to anchor that problem with video as a key solution to fix that problem. So now if I go, hey, you said you wanted the highest quality and you wanted the best person to tell your story, and this problem is costing you $200,000. You're not willing to spend $10,000 to fix that problem. You're going to make $190,000 in theory after we get these videos to help you tell your story better. So that helps me sell better, and understanding sales is one of the most important things that I was able to do. Take a DISC test, the DISC test. Mm-hmm. Entrepreneurs are almost always D's and I's. Mm. So they want to be the D's. They want to be the biggest, the baddest, the most high end, the most exclusive. They want to conquer. Kind of think of it as an Andy Elliott or a Tommy Mello, or even yourself. You want to have that status, and you want to be able to achieve greatness. You get the I's. That's more like Reagan Weiss, myself. We're a little bit more on the marketing side, very outgoing, love to meet people, don't meet a stranger, build relationships well. S's and C's are more like your accountants or attorneys. They like details, they like data. And so when I look to sell, I identify very quickly who I'm talking to. So for attorneys, as an example, or even let's just say for moving companies, if I'm to offer our services, I would, if they're trying to tell me they want to be the biggest and baddest, I'll show them what their competition is doing and tell them they're not doing that. And if they don't do this, their competition is going to keep eating their lunch. So the same with with selling. You can create these videos to position yourself better than your competition. So like when someone's saying, "Hey, why should we use you versus another videographer?" I put 8 of our 25 Telly Awards behind my head for our talks, for Zoom meetings, and I just turn around. I say, "Well, I got 8 out of 25 reasons just for right there," and that usually sums it up to a degree. So use the brand story video, the client testimonials as ways to leverage that you're the best one for the job. They should choose you versus someone else.
Yeah. So, okay, we've got basically your brand story videos to start. We've got the client testimonials and the PSA that comes out of that. So the problem, the solution, and the appeal. What other videos are essential to the 2024 home services moving company? So
another one would be an educational video, FAQ video. It's been said that sometimes you show people what to do and then they'll never do it. So in other words, let me show you how to pack your boxes. Let me show you how to use the right kind of material so you don't break, Aunt Jemima's old, china from like 1915. Like, let's make sure that it's actually packaged correctly, what kind of boxes to use, reasons why you do some of the things that you do, and the education itself. What's going to happen is as people are educating, moving companies are educating consumers and prospective clients on how to do something, they're going to end up just saying, this is so much freaking time. I don't want to have to go out and buy all the boxes, the pack material, the peanuts, or whatever else, the tape that you guys use. On top of that, I'm not going to want to do these things myself. I don't have that time, if you will. You guys know how to move and pack properly. And so sometimes when you do the educational videos, it actually gives you an opportunity to show them that they shouldn't touch this. If they don't want to invest the time, if they don't want to risk packing something themselves for something breaking that's really valuable, they're going to want to use you for all the services that they have. When you can show them that their pain points, really like what you're solving for them outweighs, the opportunity for them to save a little bit of a buck or two, they're going to see that, this is worth hiring this for you guys. So educational videos. I just talked with, his name is Damian Paul. I just got tagged, and Reagan got tagged as well on his post where he did a brand story video. But I put a comment in the thread. I said, hey man, next, put that video into an email campaign, stick it on social media, run some boosted ads, a sponsored ad for it, but also do a moving tip Monday. And I'm like, every single Monday, do a batch record. So spend probably about a half day a month, create all your content, use ChatGPT as a good baseline, but don't use it exclusively as the content, but kind of use some tips that moving companies would want to share to consumers living in your certain area, making a certain type of, annualized income. So you're not just moving like college kids, you're moving people that have some discretionary income that would spend thousands of dollars to have it professionally moved correctly. But have Moving Tip Monday, do a bulk recording, and then stick that on MailChimp or Constant Contact and drip them every single Monday. So on Mondays, they know the video gets posted on social media and it gets sent out via email campaign. And you're also sharing it from your Facebook business page over to your personal page and on LinkedIn as well. So I think all those different mediums, if you will be able to position someone to always be the one that people are receiving moving tip information from. If you become recognizable, you have enough content, you have enough brand recognition, people aren't going to be thinking of other folks. They're going to be thinking about yourself. We talked as well, currency right now is attention. And Gary Vee talks about this all the time. If I can get more eyeballs, more attention, the one who carries or yields more attention is going to win. So the other companies may be great companies. And really, like, if you compare apples to apples, they may be around longer. They may have moved more people, but guess what? People don't know that. They know that you're on camera speaking to try to help me, give me tips on how to move correctly. So that's a great video that businesses need to constantly share is, how do I do X, Y, Z? How do you pack all the boxes inside your truck? You guys have a method to that. I don't know what that is, but you probably have a certain arrangement that you want to, package everything so things don't get crushed or get moved around and broken and things like that. Talk how you pack big pianos or big safes, because when someone sees that, they'll be like, oh, shoot, I have that. And I didn't even think that that's got to get moved. If these guys know how to move safes with all my guns or my coins or whatever, they have inside of it, they can also move my piano, my nice vase that I have, or really nice statue and high-end furniture that I carry. So that video could lead to them to think about all these other opportunities. There's a cheesy saying that says, be specific to be terrific. And if you can, it basically just means if you can break down the least common denominator of what you do into almost infinite pieces, that's your video content. It's not just, how do I move this? It could literally be, how do I move and pack a china set that my great grandma gave me from 1950? And you only do a video about a 12-inch saucer plate. And then the next video, it could be about really nice high-end forks and knives and silverware. Like, it may seem really basic to you, like we just do it the same exact way. It's like, it's just, we do it in our sleep. For other people, they may be like, oh, wow, I didn't know you actually wrap it that way or you move it that way. How do you move TVs, flat screens? How do you move couches? And like, you literally break down anything that you can move. That's a video you can do as well. So you could have, you're like, hey, I look at a house, you do the inventory. There could be 150 items. Well, there's 150 videos there. And do you have to speak for 5 minutes? No. You can make it a 30-second, 60-second video on that. So that's why it's really great to predetermine, pre-schedule your productions out a month in advance, shoot them for about a half day, and then hire out the team that's going to do the editing afterwards. It's easier to do the production side. It's a lot harder to do the pre-production and the post-production side. So if you can have someone that's doing all there's about 50% of the work is in the post-production. About the other 50 is in the other two phases, pre-production and production. So 1 4-hour shoot could end up being, a 12-hour, 20-hour edit. If you're doing dozens of videos that way, that might take 30 to 60 minutes per video to cut. So that's just kind of a great pointer as to, yes, you're going to spend money, but it's just like anything else. You're going to yield a huge X return on the back end of it. That, keep in mind this, you're not just getting a new client, you're getting a client with those referrals. So what is that worth to you? You're not having to buy those referrals. You bought the first one with your investment with video and advertising to them, but you got the referrals for free. Mm-hmm. So kind of keep that in mind. It's like an org chart. You got this one, but then little veins or roots, if you will, underneath of it led to this one, which led to the reason why, which was through video.
Yeah, and it just amplifies. I've always said that the best way to grow a business is to consistently provide that 5-star Raving fan service so that people are so excited the next day to go tell their friends, family, coworkers, colleagues, anybody, their neighbors that they come in contact with. And every single move can be a move amplifier for 2 or 3 moves potentially if you just blow somebody out of the water. And getting them in with the video and then reinforcing it with the video before, during, and after the actual move keeps you front of mind. And then when you have those drip sequences or whatever, they keep seeing your ads, they won't forget about you. So when somebody asks them who they used, who they had that great experience with, they know you like off right off the top of their head.
Yep. The last one I want to talk about that we've had so many people ask us how to do in the moving industry is your process video. So the process video literally answers, what do you do for me in the entire moving process? So what does it look like when I hire you? In other words, so you would say, again, I'm not a moving company owner by any means, but I've moved about a half a dozen times, and it's literally been from my grandpa and I and my parents out of my dorm room with just a few pieces of furniture in our pickup truck to hiring an entire moving company to move our house to where we're at right now, which we're happy that we did that. And I would recommend anyone that's not in the moving industry, don't move your stuff before the move is actually scheduled. Hire them to come out to pack all your possessions and your goods, the day or two before, because that is hell.
Yeah,
that is one of the worst things, is literally going through everything before you have to move it out. And I think just having someone to come beside and you literally point and you say, that needs to get packed, that needs to get packed, and you have a team of 2 to 4 people that's packing all of it together before the scheduled move out, do it. It's highly worth it and recommended. But the process video, it's usually about 2 to 5 minutes. So think of it's more educational based. So it's not so much about a sales call to action tip or buy now or schedule your consult right now. It's more like, hey, come along with me on this journey, and I'm going to explain to you what it's like when we move people just like you. So then you say the first step, and we also like to make it where, remember that show, How It's Made?
Yeah.
Like the History Channel show.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. And so many people love that because it's very step-by-step basis. And we're such a left-brained, step-by-step basis culture. We're not, some of those cultures in the Mediterranean area or in Africa, they're more storytelling based. So it's not so much a linear chronological storytelling technique. It's more like, for us, hey, here's what you do step 1. First thing we do is we have a consult with you. We want to go over everything that you want moved and why you want it moved a certain way or how you want it moved. We need to know everything that goes involved with that. So we walk through, your living room, your kitchen. We go through all the items. We have an inventory checklist of everything. Your moving consultant is going to be able to understand you fully to see what you have a lot of value in. The next thing is we decide to have a moving date. And I might be skipping phases because I just don't.
But the principle
of it, we set your moving date. On the day of your move, you're going to get a text message from one of our staff members letting you know, hey, the guys are there. They're arriving at 8:47 a.m., 13 minutes ahead of schedule. So they're going to be there. They're going to show you tell them what the guys are going to look like, what they're going to do, what they're going to be wearing. Talk about the breaks if they ever have to take a break, a lunch break, what that looks like as well. Also, if you want to prompt them at the end after the move is done to be able to give them a tip, that's a great way to be a passive way of asking or setting the expectation, inside that process video of what your guys should probably receive once the job is actually done. You can also think of a passive way to upsell certain services, such as if you decide to forego our pre-scheduled moving service that we offer and take the risk to pack everything up yourself, that's fine. We'll schedule your move on that date and receive all the packages that you've already packed up yourself. Or if you'd want our qualified moving individuals that can take care of everything with the right kind of boxes, packing material, wrapping material, and you just have to point and we pack up for you, we have that as another add-on service that you can purchase. You can kind of set that up where you're just kind of leaving it up to them, and you don't have to sell it. You just go like, if you want to, you're basically saying we have this to offer, and if you want to take advantage of it, do so. And then lastly, as you conclude it, you talk about giving a 5-star review, referring us to your friends, and you kind of set the stage from there. So we do the same thing in our process video at JL Video. We explain it, but then we say at the end, like, we want your referrals. We want to be able to grow your business. We want to go on to Google and leave us a nice report. So those are things that you can have in the process video. And I wouldn't go over 5 minutes. 2 minutes, 3 minutes is pretty good. But just keep listing. Step 1 is this. Step 2 is this. Step 3. And I think you'll find that in the decision phase where your clients are right there on the fence to hire you, you send them that process video. Videos yet are another tool or another leverage point for you to say, this is why you want to use us versus this person. Did they show you a process video? Did they have 3 amazing client testimonials from residential folks plus commercial business owners as well? Did they show you your brand story video? Did you see all the awards? Blah, blah, blah. No, we provided that for you. These are ways why we're different. So that's how you can use those different videos to grow your moving company.
I love it. And I mean, obviously we all have iPhones in our pocket. They've got pretty good cameras on them. But if you want to look like a premium grade company that gets premium grade clients, you need to portray that in video. And that's what a company like JL Video specializes.
Yeah. We recommend we call them like your pillar videos.
Mm-hmm.
These are like your foundation. And then iPhone videos, that can still be good for podcasting snippets, for stories, for doing a quick live video. It's almost like the supplement in between the meals,
right?
If you will. Like those are still, think of how fast that is.
Yeah.
Like I will post this and get this out immediately.
And it can be more authentic too. Like if you're like capturing a spontaneous, candid little thing that's happening, it shows that you're a real person.
Yes.
But then you also have that angle of that professionally produced video that they could see on Netflix if it was ever on Netflix, that has that quality that'll resonate with the more affluent customer, which means the bigger move and the less problems typically.
One last thing I would just share is think about this from a mindset perspective. What you market, you will sell. So if you want to market high-end things, exclusive pieces, nice exotic cars, furniture, multi-million-dollar houses right on Bayshore Boulevard, whatever, fill in the blank. Whatever you market, that's what people will associate with you. Marketing is storytelling. So what kind of story do you want to tell? And if you want to tell a story of this is what you do, you market it. You only do that kind of, that's why people think that we only do big companies, is because we market the heck out of this is what we do with these large brands. Now, I have 500 other clients that are $1 million, $500,000, $2 million local companies here in Tampa. I show those off if the quality looks really nice. But if they only had a few $1,000 budget, I'm not going to show that off that much. I want to show that we do exclusive high-end things for our brands to be able to grow them. That's what separates me. Otherwise, they can hire a local freelancer.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, if you've ever watched the news in the evening, you'll see the nationally syndicated commercials for the big pharma, for the big brands, Wendy's, McDonald's, whatever. And then you'll see like a local, storm shutter company, and it's shot, you can tell. You can tell what's the local company and what's the big national company. And there's a reason the big national companies spend millions of dollars and they've gotten to be as big as they are, because they have that presence. Whereas, the local company, I think there's a place for that authentic little local cozy feel too. And if you do the right strategy and you work with somebody who knows what they're doing, they can capture both sides of that. They can get that local small town feel. Maybe they even shoot it in a different style that feels local. But if you're trying to sell a national franchise, or you're trying to dominate in a big space where there's a lot of other corporate moving companies, big national companies that you're competing against, you can capture that customer base too that's looking for that specialty. And I know you're working on a recruiting video for us too. That's another excellent thing to do, because part of our model is we want to put a budget for marketing to talent to our company, just like we want to put a budget to marketing towards new customers, because ultimately, like I said before, the best marketing is to provide that consistently 5-star service. And in order to do that, you got to have good people. So you want to attract good people, and they want to work for a well-established, polished, premium-looking company as well. And so I'm excited to see what the recruiting video comes out with.
If I may, one quick thing is, I would recommend to you moving company owners, definitely do a recruiting video that is helpful, but also do training videos. However, if you don't want to spend a lot of money and a lot of time and months to actually script this out and be thorough. You got to get on the tightenuptraining.com website. I mean, we did almost 100 videos with these guys, and it is top notch. Like it will not be more. You could not find anything better online, and it's a very small nominal fee to do that. You'd have to spend. You could probably have this be good for another 10 years before. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just the amount you'd have to use that so many times. You're going to be able to get a lot of value out of it. So,
and that's why we contracted you for that, because we knew that the moving industry was desperately lacking something that didn't look like it was shot in the 90s.
Yes.
Was, rough around the edges. I mean, there's a million videos on YouTube that companies have independently created on their own. We didn't want something that was going to have some competition's branded company. Titan is not a moving company. It's a training group at this stage. And so it's a neutral brand. You can actually brand on the platform to your company. So it looks like it's all your company. And we wanted something that had high production value, and spent a lot of money and a lot of time working with you, but we wanted that premium result.
Yes.
So that people could have that for their own companies and finally have a resource that wasn't shot in 1987
yes.
on a old, cassette style
yes.
shoulder camera type
and
of thing.
This is just for you guys. This is just kudos to Wade and the team. They wanted to make a premium product. They wanted to stand out from the competition. They wanted to provide such high value that this becomes just the go-to solution that you don't have to think about. You got to give it up for these guys and just the great work for their thoughtfulness, but also wanting to stand out. They're wanting to leave a legacy. They're wanting to leave a mark. So if you want to work with someone that has that kind of background, then this is the right place to go, and you will be completely satisfied with the work and the overall results. At the end of the day, it's about the results.
Mm-hmm.
Saving the time and the money, not having labor issues, not having to come back to a client's house because this knucklehead didn't know how to pack right and broke something.
Right.
The training, the onboarding, like that's what's in this, in the culture and leadership. So you got to get the tightenuptraining.com platform.
Thank you. Shameless plug there, but it's definitely worth it. I mean, you cut back one damage claim a month, it pays for itself. You make one extra sale a month, it pays for itself. You bring in one Rockstar employee that you keep and retain, pays for itself in that onboarding and that hiring expense, because I think that's a hidden cost with hiring. Is every employee is, at the end of the day, by the time you post the job ad, spend the time filtering it out, take the time for the interview, take the time training. I mean, that's like a $2,000 expense if you really add it all up. And I mean, the program's way cheaper than that. So Jordan, this has been an awesome podcast. I think we could talk for hours on this, and I'm really excited about our journey together. And I got a lot of creative ideas bouncing around in my head, but we're doing one thing at a time with these videos. You're working with companies all over the country right now, moving companies all over the country that met you at the last retreat. If somebody wants to hash out some of these key pillar videos that you can create, and they want that premium quality, they don't want to just hire their, uncle's co-worker's son to bring out, his little startup thing because he bought a camera, but you want something that's going to look like a national brand. How do people get in touch with you?
Sure. Easiest thing is go to jlvideo.com, and you'll see the different types of videos we've done, the people that we've worked with. You'll also see our virtual production department that we have, where we shoot inside LED screens, like with Tighten Up Training. So that's a great spot. Just click the contact form, fill out the inquiry, and our sales team will reach out to you guys, set up a Zoom meeting, and then we'll discuss too scope of work and how we can grow your business through video production.
Love it. Thank you for tuning in to the Grow Your Moving Company podcast. I'm your host, Wade Sweikel, with Jordan Lung, CEO of JL Video. Hit him up for all your video needs.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Grow Your Moving Company podcast. If you'd like to learn more about any of the sponsors listed on this show, want to apply for the next Moving Titan retreat, or interested in owning or working for a Two College Brothers franchise, drop me a line at wade@twocollegebrothers.com. Moving out, and have a great day.